Help support AMTV by becoming a patron, an AMTV staff member, and following us over on Twitter. Hi there guys, it's Adam Martyn here, and welcome back to another video, another unboxing video, because Doctor Who unboxings are back, baby! That's right, we used to do them quite frequently here on the channel, but then I launched the Doctor Who channel, AMTV Who. That channel is no longer operational, and I was thinking, we've got a new season set coming out, am I going to talk about it? Of course I'm going to talk about it. We have this bad boy, Season 25, Sylvester McCoy's second full season as the 7th Doctor, containing 4 classic stories in my opinion, and it has recently been released to Blu-ray as part of the collection series. Now, when this was announced, I was so hyped for this. Season 25 is one of my all-time favourite classic Who seasons. In fact, the 7th Doctor's era as a whole is one of my favourite eras of Doctor Who generally, so you best believe there was no way I was not going to pick this up. As usual, what we're going to do is we're going to go through the unboxing, we're going to see exactly what's inside this set, and then we'll come back and I'll talk a bit about the stories themselves, my thoughts on them, and whether or not you should pick up this set for yourself. So without any further ado, let's see what is inside this set. Okay then, so here we have it, Season 25. I always love taking a look at these limited edition box sets. They're often great packages. And just look at that on the front. There he is, Sylvester McCoy, our 7th Doctor, looking as fabulous as ever, holding the bow from Silver Nemesis. I just love looking at this, all the iconography. You've got the Nemesis ship there in the background, all the asteroids there. And of course, as usual with these sets, there's a selection of the monsters on the front. So you can see we've got the Candyman, we've got a Cyberman, the Special Weapons Dalek, the Chief Clown, the Daleks Supreme. Really great cacophony of villains in this season as well. Like, you've got Daleks and Cybermen as the heavy hitters, but you've got the Candyman, who's iconic for good or bad reasons, but, you know, still iconic. And then the Chief Clown. Honestly, really formidable stuff. As always, the artwork is done by the fabulous Lee Binding. Definitely go and support him. Go and check out his work. His work on the collection series has been great from day one. This is no exception, and I really can't wait to see what covers we have in the future, because he keeps teasing us. I see you, Lee. You keep teasing us. Just to show you the spine, I always say with these limited edition sets, because it is important to point out, they are pretty chunky things, as you can see there. It's going to take up about, you know, maybe 2 or 3 Blu-ray, regular Blu-rays on your shelf there. Now, if you have the shelf space and you can fit all your limited editions on together, that's great. They do look fabulous, but as I'm realizing now more and more, that sometimes you just run out of space. And to be fair, the standard edition releases that come out, they're a lot slimmer, they take up a lot less space, they contain exactly the same amount of discs and the same content. The only thing you really lose is the booklet is a lot thinner, it just contains disc contents, and obviously it's not limited edition packaging. But if you like these, this is how much room it's going to take up, just so you're aware. Moving it on over to the back then, we can see it says, continue your Doctor Who archive with the Ultimate Collector's Set, featuring the 4 stories, Remembrance of the Daleks, The Happiness Patrol, Silver Nemesis, and The Greatest Show in the Galaxy. All 14 episodes newly restored for Blu-ray and packed with extra material. Now, as always with these sets, there's a bunch of new features as well as ones that have previously been on DVD. So let's have a look at some of the new stuff. We've got exclusive special editions of all stories featuring untransmitted scenes, updated special effects, and optional 5.1 surround sound. This is really cool. I believe the only sort of exception to this is Greatest Show in the Galaxy, where it's only, is it parts 1 and 3 that are extended? But all of them might have new effects, that's fair enough. Updated special effects on all 4 broadcast versions, pretty cool. You've got 3 In Conversation specials. These are always great, fronted by Matthew Sweet. He's going to be chatting with Sophie Aldred, who of course played Ace. He's also going to be chatting with Andrew Cartmel, who was the script editor during the Sylvester McCoy era. And you've got Chris Clough, who directed several Doctor Who stories as well and is a leading industry figure. Really great in-depth chats these are. Really looking forward to getting to those. Behind the Sofa, of course, you've got to have Behind the Sofa with a whole series of guests. These are always great fun to watch, where they watch the episodes there. You've got the Making of Silver Nemesis. So glad this is here. The rare 1988 documentary, only ever available on VHS. So a bit of context, this was made by the New Jersey Network, I believe, originally screened overseas only. It never got a UK broadcast. It was only included on the Silver Nemesis VHS release back in 1993, but I'm guessing due to rights and stuff, it never appeared on the DVD release. It hasn't appeared since, but finally, more than 30 years, it's back on home media. So glad they were able to sort this out, because yes, it is from 1988, and some would say it's you know, oh, is it dated and stuff? But what a fascinating insight. What a fascinating look it is into how Doctor Who was made back then, simply put. So I'm sure you'll have fun watching that. I know I will. You have the VHS version of Silver Nemesis as well. This, of course, was originally included on the VHS, an extended edition. You've got Looking for Dursley, a profile of actor Dursley McClendon, who played Mike Smith in Remembrance of the Daleks. He tragically passed from AIDS when he was very young, only 30 years old, I believe, back in the mid-90s. I've had a chance to watch this already. This was a beautiful tribute to Dursley, fronted by Toby Haydock. He interviews many people as he does in this series, but honestly, fantastic. It'll probably make you cry. It nearly got me on the verge of tears as well, so highly recommend you watch that. Make that one of the first things you watch. You have exclusive archive treats, previously unavailable content from the archives. They always include tons of this, which is great. You know, lots of promotion from different programs at the time, like Breakfast Time, Open Air, various children's programs, Blue Peter. You know, all that sort of ephemera is included on here. Trailers and continuities, I love those. I absolutely love, as you probably know, the vintage continuity announcements. They're fabulous to watch. You've got studio and location footage, hours of rare previously unseen footage from the original studio and location tapes. 80s Who box sets are great for this. There's loads of that footage still available and included here. And it just gives you that wonderful insight into how television was made back at the BBC back then. You've got immersive 5.1 surround sound on every episode, isolated music score on every story, and a PDF written archive for all your scripts and other written materials. So, chock full, as ever. This set is chock full of goodies, lots to dive into, definitely worth the money on that alone, many would argue. I'd be inclined to agree. Just taking the slip off here, you can see the artwork without any text. Again, props to Lee. Fabulous job there. And on the back, look at that. It's the TARDIS amongst all those asteroids. That looks phenomenal. Oh, God, Lee, I don't know how you do it, man. You seem to up yourself with every set. Opening it up then, another stunning piece of artwork of the Doctor and Ace here. I believe this is modelled off the Happiness Patrol, right? Yes, because there's the Ace Sigma poster in the background, but that looks fantastic. What a great bit of artwork that is. And the discs, there's 8 of them. So disc 1 is the original version of Remembrance of the Daleks. Disc 2 is the special edition. Disc 3 is the Happiness Patrol, the original. Disc 4 is the special edition. Disc 5 is Silver Nemesis, the original edition. Disc 6 is the various editions, the special edition, the VHS edition, the Omnibus, etc. Disc 7 is Greatest Show in the Galaxy. Disc 8 has the extended versions, I believe, and as well more bonus features. And if I take that last disc off, you can see Sylvester's face as it was in the title sequence. Very, very cool there. Great to see. Now, as always, these contain a booklet, but before we get to that, let's have a look at the diorama. We've got the TARDIS interior. Now, we barely see the TARDIS interior in Season 25. I'm pretty sure, is it only Greatest Show in the Galaxy? Because we see the ladder, the book hanging down there. We can see Ace's rucksack hanging there by the scanner screen, the little robot that comes in. Really cute. I mean, by this point, the TARDIS was looking particularly battered on the inside, so I'm not overly surprised they didn't want to use the set that much. You've got a merch booklet advertising all your Doctor Who wares. If you want it, they've probably got it. But the meat and potatoes is, of course, the booklet. Now, it contains a lot of written up articles about the production, how these stories were made, which is great if you're particularly a fan of that. And it also has the disc breakdowns. And as we've already mentioned, there is a ton of content on these discs. It's going to keep you busy for a while. Now, as ever with these, they contain really cool photos. They contain original bits of artwork that have been made. And with the information, I always say, you know, it's been available elsewhere before, a lot of it. Doctor Who Magazine, the complete history books, all that. But if you want it just within your Blu-ray package and you enjoy a good read of these booklets, then, you know, then it's absolutely worth it. The standard editions just mainly restrict it to disc content. So, again, you could wait for that if you're happy waiting 2 years. And on the back there, have a look at that. You've got photographs of Sylvester and Sophie. One of the dream teams of 80s Doctor Who, absolutely. But that, in a nutshell, is your Season 25 package. That's what's inside. 8 discs included in here, 2 discs for every story, pretty much. All of them containing their original transmitted versions, as well as the new special editions. So, let me give you my thoughts on the stories and what I've been able to check out so far. Well, there you have it. That is Season 25 in a nutshell. As always with the collection, a really high standard here. Beautiful packaging, really well designed, beautiful artwork by Lee Binding, and of course, the amount of content that is on here. So let's talk a bit more about that. We've already dabbled a bit with the special features, but what about the stories themselves? Well, kicking off with Remembrance of the Daleks. I mean, what can you say, man? This is just hands down one of the best Doctor Who stories ever made. Like, that's not even an exaggeration. Everything from Ben Aronovich's writing to the pacing of it, the whole story itself, the characters. You've got the countermeasures team in there. You've got the Daleks warring against each other. It's really cool. And I've got to give props, actually, to the special edition that is included on this set. The special edition of Remembrance of the Daleks is really good. I've watched Remembrance too many times to count. You know, I feel like I know that story like the back of my hand, and to see new shots, whether it's new angles or scenes that were originally deleted scenes, be put back in, and they actually enhance the story. Overall, I'd say it's about, you know, maybe 5 minutes longer than the original cut, but it works. It really does work. So, and the effects as well are really cool. I always think some of them, and I know it's hard, some of them look sort of, I'd argue, too modern for 1988, but I do understand, like, when you're trying to recreate but also enhance, you know, early video effects, you've got to blur the line a little bit. But it was fantastic. It was a really enjoyable watch. I really enjoyed it, and it makes me excited to check out the other special editions on this set too. The Happiness Patrol is so underrated, if you ask me. And I'll admit, when I was a kid, you know, before I even watched it properly, you see the Candyman. Sometimes people write this episode off. It is way more than just the Candyman. Like, the undertones here, the whole, like, a happy society forced to be happy, that whole angle. Some of the scenes towards the end, like with the Doctor and Helena, are fantastic. Sylvester McCoy, actually, throughout this story, just shines. Like in Remembrance, you really get to see this more darker Seventh Doctor, this more unknown personality that he wanted to bring to it, and it's great to see. Really excited to check out the special edition of this as well, but just generally, Happiness Patrol, for me, is this underrated story that deserves a whole lot more love than it actually gets. And I'd argue within like the last 10-15 years it has started to gain that love, but we got to keep that train going. Keep it going. Silver Nemesis, you could argue, is undoubtedly, is it the weakest of the season? Probably yes. You know, they tried to cram so many ideas into one. You've got the Nemesis statue, then there's Lady Painfort, then you've got the neo-Nazis in there, then you've got the Cybermen. There's a lot going on for a 3-part story. And could it have probably been a bit longer? Well, obviously this box set challenges you to make it shorter with the Omnibus edition. Then you've got the VHS extended edition, as well as the special edition with new effects and stuff. That's the one I'm going to be checking out when I get to it. But Silver Nemesis, I think, is still a good little romp. It's not on the same level for me as the other stories in this season, but I still get a lot of enjoyment out of it. I mean, you've got Cybermen. How can you go wrong with 80s Cybermen? David Banks as the cyber leader. They've all got that chrome plating for this one. So it's a fun little romp. I can stick it on and it makes me smile without fail every single time. And then you have The Greatest Show in the Galaxy, a triumph in what you can do with, you know, bad circumstances, being filmed mostly inside a tent. I love the creepier elements of this. Ian Reddington's Chief Clown is phenomenal. I love that character, and I just love the whole world they've got going on for this story. You could argue, are there some bits that are a bit, you know, you could argue a bit cringy, like the Whiz Kid and stuff like that. You could argue that, yeah, but there's so much good in this story that I think it outweighs all of that. I'll be interested to see the extended cuts of parts 1 and 3. This is the only one of the set that doesn't have a full-on special edition, just because there's not that much material to add in or change, but I'll be checking out the extended cuts nonetheless. But I mean, you know, 4 bangers, and even if you discount Silver Nemesis, 3 out of 4 stories that have sort of, for me at least, in the top pantheon of Doctor Who, that's a pretty good run. And it really is a complete chalk and cheese from the previous season, season 24. Many people battle between season 25 and 26 as to which one is better. And I don't like to think of it like that. Both are equally good in very, very different measures. You could argue season 26 is where the idea of the Darker Doctor is fleshed out to its peak in some respect, but I love the monster features in season 25. I love the pace of Remembrance, the messages within Happiness Patrol, the silliness at times of Silver Nemesis, and the creepiness of Greatest Show in the Galaxy. It's just a great collection of 4 Doctor Who stories, really showing that this creative renaissance for the show was well and truly underway. So, am I saying to go and get this set? Of course I am. It does retail at the minute for around £55, which obviously is a fair amount of money. Obviously, for the 4 stories, they've all got the special editions as well. So, I mean, I'm a Doctor Who fan. I'm probably going to get this no matter what. If you want to wait for a standard edition release, I guess you can. But, you know, those seem to be coming at least 2 years after the release of the limited edition ones. So, assuming that pattern continues and you want the standard edition release, which will be probably, you know, £15, £20 cheaper, you got to be waiting until at least the autumn of 2026. And if you want to do that, that's your prerogative. But no, another triumph for the collection series, another gorgeous set. Really glad to be having this on the shelf. Let me know what you thought in the comments. Are you grabbing this set? Are you now convinced to get this set? Give this another look for Season 25, because it is truly a great season. And as we all ask, the minute these comes out, what's going to be next? What collection set is going to be next? Leave your thoughts, leave your predictions down in the comments below. In the meantime, thank you very much for watching. Leave a like if you enjoyed it. Subscribe to the channel if you're brand new, because we'd like to have you aboard. In the meantime, I've been Adam Martyn from AMTV. Thank you for joining me, and I'll see you next time. Thank you to our patrons for helping to support the show, and a special thank you to Macra, Bruce Danton, Derek Chambers, Sean Knock, Dord Khan, Liam Domain, AJ Mac 200017, Deck, Jen, Traffy, Tim Ripley, Mr. Eurovision 1986, Ted Elliott, Marnanel Thurman, John Wakefield, Kieran Bolton, 40-something Manchild, Jerry Ralph, John McLeod, Subs Khan, Saint Rocket 9, James Wallace, and Ben, our AMTV staff members.